All right, guys. So we're live tonight, drawing a WF, Allis Chalmers. Now, I'll be honest with you, I've never seen a WF before. I don't remember seeing one at least. From my understanding, WF is pretty much a WC, but like a wheatland setup. It's got the wide front, a little bit lower stance to it. Pretty interesting tractor. Go ahead and throw it up there. This is the tractor we're drawing. I'm pretty excited for this one. I think it's going to turn out really good. I put up a kind of a teaser the other night on TikTok of what this is, and everybody seemed to think it was a major. It's a major. Well, I forget the name of those, but the blue tractor that looks like this. I had a lot of people say WD-45. Had people saying international. I had a whole bunch of things. Very few people actually guessed a WF, and I'm a big fan of this tractor. What's up, that evil twin big stock? How you doing, buddy? All right. Well, we're going to get started on here. So I've already got the outline done, as I always do. Got a piece of tracing paper over top, just so that I can run my hand up and down a bunch over here, and I'm not going to screw up anything that I've got going on. Hey, what's up, Johnny Red 07? How we doing? I'm going to go ahead and get started on drawing this thing. So if you're having trouble seeing it, go over to YouTube. YouTube's got all the good stuff. So that's where my live will be best viewed from. Currently, my TikTok live is just a camera pointing at my screen that's pointing at my YouTube channel. So unfortunately, TikTok won't let me do the multi-camera stuff that I like to do. So this is my workaround. If you want something better, you can tell TikTok about it, because I would sure love to be able to do this on TikTok, but without just pointing a camera at my screen. But we are live, and we're live on both those platforms. If you haven't taken the time to follow me on TikTok, go ahead and follow me. Sure would appreciate this little account getting a little bit of recognition for what I do. Tell somebody about me. That would be awesome. If we could share this live, get it going, tell people about me. I'd be happy with that. Or go over to YouTube and give me a subscribe. It's one of the best things you could do for this little account. We're trying to grow, y'all. It's been a hard market to break into. There's not a big market for tractor drawing. There's not a big market for YouTube videos of tractor drawing, but we're growing every day. I think the last month I've gained at least one new follower or one new subscriber every day, which I call a success. Most of the time when I go live, I'll get 2 or 3 new ones. So love your drawings. Thanks. Appreciate it, Johnny. Okay, so we got these tri-ribs here. Just putting a little bit of detail into them. Not a lot. And we're going to put some color down here. Some charcoal. Just using a general 4B charcoal pencil for anybody who wants to draw at home like me. Pick yourself up a 4B charcoal pencil and a white pencil, and just start drawing. Or if you ain't got that, just pick up whatever pencil you happen to have and start drawing. That's how I started. You know, it doesn't come naturally to everybody, and it doesn't come quickly to everybody, but I think anybody can do this. I really do. If you are interested in that, you can check out my tutorials. I've got a few of them out there on YouTube. Going on vacation in middle of May. Trying to get enough content on YouTube so that there's no break in my content while I'm away. So you'll see me doing some lives on here, and you'll see me do probably a little more than normal, trying to build that content up so that I can take a vacation and still keep the channel growing. At least that's the goal. We'll see. What am I missing in here? Anything important? Not much. Let's do that. Okay, this front tire's coming along pretty good. You know, my brother had a WC Allis Chalmers that we tractor pulled growing up. I love driving that tractor. I like the handbrakes, I really do. And when I saw this WF, I'm like, it looks familiar in certain ways, but yet not familiar in others. Front end is just different. I like it a lot. I looked it up. I think they only made about 4,000 or 5,000 of these total from 1939 all the way up to 51, I think it was, they made these. Allis Chalmers had a lot of different models of tractors, though. Definitely had a lot of stuff going on there. Okay. So I lost a little bit of the detail here with the smudging. We're just going to come back in and kind of pound it back in there a little bit. Smudge it again. We'll lose a little bit of it, but what we'll gain is a little bit of detail that I think will make it really pop. Okay, front tire is done. I'll go ahead and move my tracing paper here a little bit. You don't need the tracing paper. That's just, I don't use it when I'm not live streaming. I'll use just a piece of notebook paper. Notebook paper actually seems to work better for me. The reason I stick with the tracing paper on my live streams, though, so you all can see them. It's for your benefit, not mine. It actually makes it harder for me. You're welcome. We might lose that shadow. We'll see how it looks. There is a break in the shadow there. I just don't know if it's going to come off as a break in the shadow or just a mistake in the drawing. So if it ends up looking like a mistake, we'll just shade over it. Sometimes with these shadows you get too detailed, it just doesn't look right. You gotta bring the detail down on this sometimes to really make it pop. So back here we've got, this is the back tire right here. Keep a crisp edge on that. Front axle right here. One thing with this front axle that I want to try to keep is the basic shape of it. I'm not gonna be terribly worried about the detail of it, but I do want to keep the basic shape. Just a little bit. So I'll just put some white down and we'll layer it. That up underneath it here. Keep that nice and crisp line there. It did look like a Fortune Major from the nose of it. It sure did. Turning out good. Hey man, this looks just like your profile picture. It is turning out good. I'm happy with it so far. I'm on a kick of drawing these oddball tractors. You know, I mentioned on my, I think it was 2 nights ago that I drew the, it was last night I think, I drew the, yeah, I guess it was last night. I drew, oh, what was it I drew? It was a Co-op Implements Dutz. And I mentioned that we did a tractor show years and years ago, and they wanted to feature like the oddball tractor, so they call it the oddball show, right? Well, some of these guys with these different brands of tractors got offended by calling their tractors oddballs, so they had to rename it from oddball to lesser known classic. So I'm on a lesser known classic kick here. Really enjoying drawing these. Stuff you don't see every day. I don't know, I'm 38 years old and I don't remember ever seeing a WF before. I sent it to my brother the other night when I saw it. He's a WC guy, and I didn't get a real response back whether he'd seen one before. I'm sure he has, but I'd never seen one of these before. Neat piece. Very neat piece. Thanks for sharing it with me. You want more oddball tractors to draw? Actually, I do. Yeah. This is the last one I have on the drawing board currently. I normally, you know what, I don't pick out too many ahead. Lesser known classics. We're going to call them that, remember? Lesser known classics. Maybe I'll do a video based on the lesser known classics and tell that story in a video. That sounds cool. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of this. It doesn't stand out to me as a shadow. It looks like just a thing I forgot to color in, so we got rid of it. That's how we make decisions here. We look at it and say, yeah, that's what we're doing. Not much to it. I don't know why I'm keeping such a sharp line here. I mean, this is all going to be shaded over, so let's go ahead and do that. Have no fear, it'll come back. Alright, this is part of the front axle here. I like the shape of this front axle. I hope I can bring it out so you can tell this is front axle. It's a tougher thing to draw when people don't know what it looks like. If you draw a Farmall M, everybody knows what's supposed to be where, but you draw in, you know, the lesser known classics, and people don't know what it looks like, and their eye doesn't fill in as much, so I got to be a little more careful to put the right details in the right places than I normally would. I keep screwing this up and doing exactly the opposite of what I'm saying while I'm doing it. I like every once in a while just changing it up and not drawing the Farmall, or not drawing the John Deere, or not drawing it, whatever. Got a single front wheel Farmall B and a Dutz Allis 9150. Nice. You draw my 1929 KCC on steel wheels. Send me a picture of it, maybe. Maybe. I don't do too many requests on live streams. It gets tough to keep up with it all. Alright, Well, this looks like a black mess now because I've just kind of colored over everything. We'll get a blender out here in a second and turn it into something else. Let's find that blender. Alright, what blender am I going to use? I'll use mid-sized blender. Start at the top here. Follow this line around. And keep that pretty dark. Yeah, there it came out. I was hoping that little white shadow there on the side would do what it did. It did what it did, so I'm happy with that. Just gives it almost an I-beam look here. I like that a lot. That was the shape that I really liked on this tractor that drew me to it. The fact of that, and it looked like a WC Allis Chalmers hood, but on a John Deere R chassis, you know, Wheatland stance. Just awesome, awesome beast. A little misleading because it came with the same horsepower as a WC, so it's not like a super powerful tractor. But y'all hear my dog snoring? Man, he's awfully loud, I'll tell you that. Awfully loud. Not super powerful, but it's a good looking stance. It looks like it's extremely powerful in the picture. You know, you're getting louder over there snoring, dog. Oh well. Very few people actually watch the live stream anyway. Most people come back and watch the time-lapse videos, which is one of the main reasons I do the live stream, so that I can get the footage for the time-lapse. Where do I need to send the picture? And can I buy the picture? So, I'll tell you how I work typically. If I pick your tractor to draw, well, first of all, where to send it. Best way to send it to me is on Facebook or Instagram. It's Clem's Tractor Art. There's a link in my TikTok profile, I believe, to get over there. If you need any more information, you know, post a comment on my video or something. I try to read all those. As far as buying the picture, I normally draw them for free. Now that allows me to pick what I want to draw, so I don't get to draw everybody's stuff. I draw what I want to draw. Once I get it done, I'll send you a scanned copy of it for free. Doesn't cost you a thing. If that's where you want to stop, that's great. If you'd like to have this original that I'm working on right now, I give most of the time, I'll give the option to purchase the original or get it from me. What I ask is it cost me about $30 to ship to a U.S. address. If you're in the U.S. and want it, you tip me about $30, cover my expenses, I'll send it to you. If you want to tip more than that, I'm more than happy to take more than that. I'd say about half the people buy it from me and half the people decide not to, and I'm fine with that. If after I'm done drawing, I can send you the information if you asked for it. You got about 30 days before I'll put it out to the public. Some of these are going to start going on eBay. If people don't pick them up after they get drawn, I'm going to put them on eBay. People can buy them if they want. So anyway, that's how I work. Like I said, I only draw what I want to draw for the most part. I've had a few times where people come to me and be like, hey, I'll give you $500 to draw my tractor, right? And I'm like, I don't want to draw it. And I'll be like, well, $600. I'm like, all right, I'll draw your tractor. So, and they'll send me a boatload of money and draw it. But most of the time, I'm drawing it and people sending me 30 or 40 bucks, 50 bucks, 60 bucks. Had quite a few people send me more, but I do this as a hobby, and I'm doing it as a content creator. I'm not doing it to really sell my art. I don't find much interest in selling art. I love drawing it. I don't like the business side of selling art. I do love drawing though. So, and I found a lot of people really want the stuff I draw after I draw it for them. So I give an option for that. All right, let's check the comments. It's awesome. We'll go send some pictures now. That's cool. Hey, put in your message that you saw me on my TikTok live. That gets my attention most of the time. I said, if I don't want to draw it, I won't draw it. And there's two things that make me want to draw something, and one of them is the fact that it would make a cool drawing, or I would really want to draw it, and the other one is money. But it takes more money than you'd think to want me to draw something, so money's not the motivation. But it does buy these expensive charcoal pencils that I use. And speaking of which, I got to buy some more of these. I'm running low. This is one of my longest pencils I have left, and it's like half the length it started as. I think I need to go over the weekend and buy some, or I might be coloring with these little nubs next week. All right. Here we go. All right. Let's get a little detail down into this here. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. That's all I can sing of that song. Otherwise I'll get a copyright strike. Just kidding. Nobody would even know what song that was. My horrendous singing. I think this was the hole where the crank used to go. Fun story with that one. My brother had that WC Allis Chalmers, and it came from the factory with well, one thing, it was a hand crank. Two, it had steel wheels. Well, he got rid of the steel wheels before he had it. And when they pulled this thing out of the brush, it was rough shape. But it had the hand crank. Well, my brother kept the hand crank for a few years. And my grandfather, at a tractor show, my brother goes to start the tractor. The tractor backfires while the hand crank's in my brother's hand. Rips the hand crank out of my brother's hand, flies over his shoulder and into the crowd. A whole bunch of people watching this tractor start up. And of all the people in the crowd, it hits my grandfather square in the forehead. Like, yikes, right? Well, immediately blood everywhere. He's split wide open from getting hit in the head with a tractor crank. And we end up rushing him to the hospital. He had stitches all the way across the top of his head from that WC's hand crank. Well, my dad and brother went back next week, and they found a starter for that tractor. That was the last time that tractor was hand cranked. You know what's crazy is it flew over my head. Hand crank. I was standing in front of my grandfather. Flew over my head. This would have been about 1994. I was 11 years old or so. I don't know that I would have survived had that thing hit me in the head. But my hard-headed grandfather didn't take him out. Wish it had a hand crank so I didn't have to keep charging this battery. Yeah. Well, hopefully that story changed your mind a little bit. Alright, let's go ahead and clean up the edge here a little bit. Got a little bit thicker dark line here than I want. I'll get rid of that. Just my reference line that I used. Try to get rid of some of that, but not getting rid of all of it. Don't have to get rid of all of it. I'm going to lighten up this reference line because that's going to be a white top too. Same with here. Just got to remember that that's there. Alright, let's go into here. Now I put some little teeny lines in here. I'm hoping they don't actually come through too much because I did not put as many lines as what's on the real tractor. The real tractor, I think it's like an expanded metal almost grill. I really just want this to look like a dark spot with a few little lines popping through it, which is kind of what that looks like. What I don't want it to like look like it's like a chicken wire mesh. That would be the worst thing I could do for this tractor, is make it look like chicken wire or something. A real thick, coarse line. Like up here, I don't want that. I want the hint of something there though, and the hint of something there is there, so I succeeded in that. Come down that a few times. Looks pretty good. Okay. Something don't look right here, and I can't place what I've done wrong. Something here just don't look right. That. That looks a little better. Yeah, it looks better. The grill looks like chicken wire. Is that insulting my drawing? That's one thing I didn't want it to look like. All right, let's do the muffler. Chicken wire. I can't find if there's a, I assume it's over here. There's not a highlight in the muffler, but I like to put highlights, so we're going to add that highlight there. And let's darken her up a little bit. I want it to go gray, not white. Yeah, that'll do. That'll look good once the rest of the tractor's there with it. Looking good, man. Love your work. Thanks. It's a good looking profile picture you got there. Looks familiar. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, let's move back a little bit. Done ripped my tracing paper. All right, I'm gonna try to do. Yeah, I'm gonna try to do that whole engine compartment and hood. That's the next step. Let's do the air cleaner first. Does this steering wheel have 4? No, it does not. I see what it is now. I thought for a minute the steering wheel had 4. It threw me. It took me a second to find it. I thought the steering wheel had 4 posts in it. Well, what we're seeing is the steering rod, the steering shaft. that messed me up for a second, but we got back. I don't think Allis Chalmers would have put a 4-spoked steering wheel on. I don't know of any tractor of this era that would have had 4-spoke steering wheel. I feel like we were past that at this point in history, even though we're pretty early in the tractor history. In the 30s here, or 40s here. I'd say, just looking at this, I'd say it's what, early mid 40s, 43, 40, 44, something like that. Just going by the hood, I'm kind of assuming that the WFs and WCs carried that same mentality. Would have been after the 30s, for sure with this, I think. Into the early 40s. 50s tractor. Holy cow. Well, it's got to be early 50s because they didn't make these things after, what, 54? 51. 50s tractor. Okay. So this would have been beside the WDs and WD-45s then, probably. Like on the showroom floor. Okay. Well, I was right on one thing. It was later than the 30s. I need to spend a little more time researching these tractors before I draw them. That would be good. I enjoy that side of it. I eventually would like to do some of that, like the history of these tractors on my channel. I think that would be awesome to do stuff like that alongside of my drawings. That's kind of that's the end goal, I'd say. I've already started one with that 1912 Holt. The Holt became Caterpillar after they got merged with Best Tractor Company. And that one tractor that I drew, same family for 5 generations, which I just find completely amazing. Just amazing. Alright, I'm just looking at this, make sure I got the right spot at being lighter. So I'm going to the extremes here with the dark and the light. We'll bring it back to somewhere in the middle here in a minute. Okay. I work at a cat dealership, and the history of Caterpillar is pretty cool. It is pretty cool. What part of the country are you in? Do you happen to work at one of the Holt cat dealers by any chance? Because the Holt family owns like all the dealerships in Texas, I think. Which is still the same family that did the Holt tractors that became Caterpillar. A very interesting history there. Doing a little bit of research on that stuff. Oh man, I just screwed that up big time. You see that? That's a rare flaw for me to do it that bad. Luckily the erasers work well. Oh, you work for Holt. That's cool. I'd love to get somebody from like Holt Cat to be in my my video talking about the Holt history, Holt family, but might be a long shot since it's my first one. I don't really have a track record of making documentaries. Also afraid I'll never get it done. Been working on it now for several months. Oh, from Kansas, work at Foley. Okay, I got you. Okay. Yeah, that'll look good once I get the engine done. I think there's some stuff going on in here that I gotta figure out on the back side of this, but I'm kind of going at it a little different than I normally would. Trying to find where everything is, fill it in as we go. Hey, thanks for the likes there, Drake. Appreciate it. Okay, let's find a blender here that's not too dark. Start going over some of this stuff. The original name Caterpillar came from the Holt tractors. Their slogan was, "Crawls like a caterpillar." From my understanding, Holt had a better design on the tractor, but Best had a better marketing plan. So when they merged together, they took most of the design from the Caterpillars and made a Caterpillar company. That's my understanding of the early history of it. Could be way off on that. That's what I got. That looks much better there. I think that's what was wrong with that front end that I was worried about. It wasn't dark enough. So I think I'm going to darken this up a little bit too. I think that's where I went wrong before. Just need a little darker. Yeah, that'll be better. Okay. Now I can come back in and start doing some of the detailed work in the engine compartment. What else we got going on here? We got a lot going on down here. Just a little bit like that. All right, where am I? I'm coming back to about here. So maybe the back of that, I think, right about there. I think this will be where it starts to pop when I get this engine compartment done. That's when it starts looking like something. Right up to the battery compartment there. Holt Best merged when they made the crawler for the soft western soils. When they watched it run, they said, "Looks like a caterpillar moving." Enough field. I don't know what enough field is. A couple of people said that. This is a Allis Chalmers WF, which is like WC, wide front on a wheatland stance. Only about 4,000 of them made, from my understanding. They made them from, I think, 39 all the way to 50, 51 or 54. Could be completely wrong on those dates, but going off of memory from looking at it once. Alright, well, some of that detail didn't go through as good as it should have, so I'll just add it back in and go over it again. There we go. And then right here, that should not have been colored in. So we'll bring that back to where it's supposed to be. Nice. The back of that 1912 Holt that I drew actually, I believe, said crawls like a caterpillar on it originally. Had it printed on the side of the tractor. So. Yep, she's starting to look good. Takes a while. Takes a while to actually see it myself. So, all right, I think my next step is going to be the fender, battery box, gear shifter seat, and front tire. I mean, that's like 12 steps if you counted, something like that. It's my 12-step program right here. Now I've got to get this little detail here that most people won't notice. There's a second line that runs up beside that with a little trigger here for reverse, I believe. And I want to get that detail in there. It might not look sharp, but it'll be one of those things where somebody who knows will know that it's there. Seats next. Top of the seat, we've got a white line where it's reflecting everything, and then right here on the saddle horn, I guess we'll call it that. I may have just made that name up. It looks like a saddle horn. And we've got something we forgot right here. Right here. A piece of steel that runs down there. I want to make sure I get a little bit of detail in there that I want to get. Then this will be our seat coming around here. A lot of reflections in the seat except for these few holes. This old pan seat. And then the seat mount. Here, except for the seat mount. We do that. Top of the battery box. A lot of sun reflecting on that. A little bit of sun reflecting down here. Almost no sun on the front. saw somebody the other day on Twitter had posted, it was a charcoal person that says it's really hard to believe that this is just a burnt tree. That's all this is burnt wood. You know, that's all a charcoal pencil is. It's burnt wood wrapped in another piece of wood. It's pretty cool to put in perspective that we're doing that. You know, this with that little bit of technology. This has been around forever. I have to find a better blending stump. This one here is like dead. It ain't doing anything. That's weird. That's the first time I've ever killed a blending stump. It was not doing anything though. So weird. All right, battery box is looking good. Should I drown my pet fish? That's a loaded question right there. Yes, you should, as long as your fish doesn't suffocate. I don't know what to do with that question, man. A few bolt heads here I want to put some detail in, along with some details I lost already. Let's see what else I got. There's a detail right here and over here. Sharpen up that edge. Yeah. Okay. Going a little slower here. I'm just trying to make sure I don't miss too many of the details. Time for this beast here. This tire's actually got me a little nervous. There's a lot goes on in it. I'll get her. I think the center hub's the one that's kind of the worst for me because I couldn't get it. I couldn't really figure it out when I was doing the reference drawing, when I was doing the reference outline. So just a lot going on in a little space here. let's sharpen this pencil. Hoping to find this hub shape now. Hub goes back to there. It's down here with a little point sticking down. And round it on the top. Saturate that in pretty heavy. This part's white too. Make sure to get that. Okay. Let's find a sharper pencil to start with. Alright. End of the hub. A little ring right here. Yep, I think that's it. Right here, there's a bolt head. See that? Alright, it looks kind of sloppy, but I think it's going to turn out alright. Start in the middle of this hub and just follow the shape of it around as best I can. And then we'll go to the wheel, follow the shape of the wheel. Back in a little bit. And a little bit smaller ring. I think that's going to be good enough for what we're doing. Follow the shape of the tire around. And then I'm going to come down on the tire on this one. Brighten her back up on the top here a little bit. Yep, there's our front tire. Last piece to do is the fender and the back tire. Let's do the fender before we move the blender. Well, at least the top part of the fender. Everything under the fender is going to be black that fades into the tire. Get that eraser out. First thing I want to do while I'm right here, clean the steering wheel a little bit. Got a little out of control. Clean up the shift knob just a little too. And then tracing paper now. Throw that somewhere. That would stop if I pushed the brakes. Didn't stop and almost took down a pole shed. I think I missed the first part of that. Take a quick drink. And then we'll get back to it. Alright. Starting on the top. Bars on this thing look a little funky. Not really new. I don't think they look that bad on the reference photo, but the color reference photo that I got. But it seems like something weird's going on with the black and white. Right there's dark. Alright, let's find the gap there. That goes there, and then down here, this is our shadow. We'll cheat the shadow a little bit into it. There we go. I remember the first time I drove the old WF, went to park it. I was 11ish at the time and thought that it would stop. It didn't, and almost took down a pole shed. What's your Facebook name? I think it's Clem's Tractor Art. CLEMS Tractor Art. Something like that. It's either that or Tractor Art. That's the only two names I go by on everything. So if you need to find me on what I'm on, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, it's either Tractor Art or Clem's Tractor Art. Try to keeping it consistent. My dad's Super M for years didn't have any brakes on it. And you know, with tractor pulling, you come down off the scales. You know, I want to hold the brakes a little bit. They didn't work. You know, you go down a hill, I want to be able to use the brakes a little bit. They didn't work. And then one day, after I moved away, 1,200 miles away to Nebraska, and he's still back there, I came back and a tractor pulled his tractor one day, and I did the normal thing where, you know, you hold down with all your weight on the brakes. I about got thrown off the front of the seat because he went and put brakes in and didn't tell me. It had brakes for a change. Went my entire life without brakes. Suddenly there was brakes. Hate to disappoint you all, but we're getting real close to done here. Y'all's gonna have to find something else to do with the rest of your evening. I mean, it's a nice night where I'm at. Should get outside and do something. I know I'm going to after this. Probably not. Foot brakes. Foot brakes or hand brakes? My brother's WC had hand brakes. I love those hand brakes though, because they actually stopped. Dad's tractor had the foot brakes, obviously. WC, I always liked driving it more than my dad's tractor because it would stop. It's just a fun tractor to drive with the handbrakes. You know, most of the time you only need the one handbrake that's closest to you. You don't even need both of them. Alright, what I miss? Y'all let me know what I missed. I'm about done. I'll run this eraser around here and clean some stuff up, but otherwise I'm close to done. What the heck is this? Something screwy there. charcoal dust everywhere than I realized. It's everywhere. Looks amazing. Thank you. Handbrakes are fun for 0-point turns. As long as you're going, let's see, which way was it? Yeah, as long as you're making right turns, it's fun. If you're reaching over and going all the way for left turns, not as fun. All right. Well, I'm going to sign this one, and then I'll take her to the scanner and get a scanned copy in. I'll send it to the fellow who requested it. And then, if you're at all interested in the original, let me know. We'll figure out a way to get it to you if you're interested and willing to pay for shipping, handling, and resources. I'm going to sign it right under the front wheels in this dark spot. I like signing in the shadows. That's something that I started late last year that I really like. I used to sign in the corner. And I actually started signing in the shadows because I signed in a corner on one and then I scanned it in and it was too big for the scanner. And then I didn't have anything signed, so it kind of sucked. That's what we got. Alright, so you draw it, send the underpictured item a digital copy. Is it free or do you have to pay? So the digital copy is free if I pick your drawing. I don't draw everybody's stuff. Digital copy is free. If the owner wants to buy the original, I give them 30 days to ask for it and get the original. And it just costs basically my shipping and handling cost, about 30 bucks to the US. A lot more overseas because, let's face it, it just costs a lot more to ship overseas. But that's how my current system works. So, yeah. So that's that. And hope you guys enjoyed it. There's our reference photo. That's what it turned out to be. I think I did a little bit of justice. Yeah. Alright guys, that's all I've got for tonight. Check out my other stuff and go ahead and subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. I'm really trying to grow that channel over there, so please do. Follow me on TikTok if you haven't. Follow me on Instagram or whatever they call it over there. Is what it is. That's all I got, guys. Glad you like it. We're going to end our live here. So y'all have a good evening and check out my other stuff.